Well, we're here with Mac, a candidate on Good Party running for Nevada State Assembly. Um, and first, we'd like to start off with an initial question. What made you decide to run for office?
There were actually a couple of items that started, but most importantly was she had my opponent, i.e. the incumbent, had no opponent last time around at all. And that disturbed me because to me, that's not an election. So I made up my mind 2 years ago that I was going to put my name in to run. And then in the interim, of course, other things happened. Like I felt that some of the things that they were passing up the state house were very party line-ish and also violating my constitutional rights, which I tend to protect as best I'm able.
Why did you decide to run as an independent and not for one of the major parties?
I'm being manipulated. People are trying to manipulate me from each party by trying to make me angry at something so that I choose a side. And to me, that's being controlled. I don't like being controlled. I never have. You can ask my mom. So running as an independent avoided that. I don't, and hopefully I would get elected because I was hoping there'd be a big protest vote, Democrats and Republicans upset about it, and I can try and point that out. And if not this time, maybe next time. Sooner or later, enough people have got to get angry at the situation that we have right now. The two-party system is not working. And part of the reason it's not working is they have no interest in making it work. If they fix things, they won't be in power. Somebody else will get in. If they keep things in a turmoil and ugly, then they stay in power, whoever they be, both Republicans and Democrats. They've both done it and they both do it. And so I'm tired of watching and being called every name in the book because I made a choice to support one individual or another. And I've been a nonpartisan independent for over 20 years so that I can choose the candidate that I like, that I think is the one that's going to do the job the right way for me or shares my values.
Moving further along, what's your vision for a brighter future for Nevadans?
I kind of get asked that a lot. I don't know that I have a great big future plan, but what I have is the desire to actually represent my constituents. I have walked around, I have talked to my constituents. They email me. I have a lot of them on Facebook. What are their issues? I belong to several parent groups because they feel education is really got a problem here in Nevada. But yet, how much money have we thrown at it? How much money has the federal government thrown at the problem? Lots and lots. It's time to stop throwing money. It's time to analyze the problem. One side wants to have vouchers. The other side is totally against it and has a union. Okay, great. Why can we not look at charter schools, pick out what they do really, really well? Go to public schools. What do they do really, really well? And somehow combine the two. I want my citizens, my constituent base to be active. Fortunately, the state of Nevada actually has a means that they can do it. It's underutilized, not very well advertised. And but frankly, I've used it. There was an issue last session around where they were talking about the Second Amendment and they were going to pass this law or that law. And there were close to 6,000 individual entries, both pro and con. Well, I was very annoyed that they passed it because there were, of the almost 6,000 entries, only 80 were in favor. The remaining 5,000 plus were against, and they still passed it.
Next question is, you mentioned your experience as a teacher and in the military. Why are you the best candidate in your race with your experience in those areas?
Well, it is precisely because of my background and my experience that I think I'm the best candidate. My opponents, good people. I don't dislike them. They're nice people. I think that some of their thinking is not where it would need to be. Obviously, the Democrat, unfortunately, they support the Democratic Party platform. The Republican's going to be obligated to do the same. I don't have that obligation. I have the ability to sit there and say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we can get together. Hey, you guys need this, you guys need that. And I'm in the middle, and maybe I can broker that. Having been in the military and having seen some pretty horrendous things in my career, I do not, under any circumstances, want to see our government devolve to that. That violence is uglier than most people breathing today can possibly imagine. There are many others in the military, I'm sure, that can imagine that. I did 31 years. Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Iraqi, Enduring Freedom, and a whole bunch of other little things in between. I don't want my grandkids having to deal with that. I don't want my kids having to deal with that. I mean, and they're getting up there in age too. I mean, you know, the oldest is 44, the youngest is 36. So that's not a prime age to be out running around trying to, you know, deal with people that have gone to violence to solve things, which to me is entirely the wrong answer. I got the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, and that is basically for your civic service. You don't get paid for that. That's all your volunteer time. In order to even be thought for that award, you have to have over 4,000 hours of volunteer service, documentable. So, and then somebody got to put you in for it. And I won't finger him on public television or anything, but he's gotten an email saying, shame on you. What did you do that for? But anyway, I'm very proud of it.
Well, we have one more question for you, Mac. And that's, what do you tell a voter that feels reluctant to vote for an independent candidate?
I deal with that quite often because people do not want to switch. They've dug themselves into one party or another. And it's an entire mentality that has to be broken down. Is probably too strong a phrase, but you have to explain and get them to understand, hey, you're upset about issue A, and these guys are backing issue A, or you're upset about issue B, and the other guys are, you know, backing issue B. And they're emotional. They're based on emotions. They want you to make a decision on emotions. It's a form of control. All right. Ask anybody that's ever been in an abusive relationship. They will tell you it's a form of control. It can be difficult. I guess the difficult thing to me is I can talk and I can explain, and I get nodding heads and people understand, or at least say they understand. But it's not showing up in my donations. It's not showing up in people offering to come out and help me hand out flyers or anything like that. It's very difficult. I don't think in many cases they're mad enough yet. I think it's coming. I was hoping it was now. And I still think I'm going to get quite a turnout. I figure I need 10, 12,000 votes in my favor.
I really appreciate you taking the time, and I wish you the best in your race.